I think they sent me the wrong plane again. I ordered a UMX Pitts and they sent this one instead. Just kidding, folks. This is the 850mm version. I also have the FMS 1400mm version of this same plane with the same livery, the Pitts S-1S. I was going to do a triple unboxing, but I thought that's just going to make too long of a video, so we'll do them one at a time. This one will be up next probably. And today's show we're going to unbox and do the radio setup and pre-flight of this brand new E-flite UMX PITTS S-1S. It's not much of an unboxing because it's already in one piece, as you'll see. So just before we begin the show, welcome viewers to the Philip Cockram channel. Please like, subscribe, share and comment. It helps this channel grow and it helps me bring you these great videos that we all love. Unfortunately, we have to say that all the time, guys, because, you know, otherwise people won't subscribe or like or comment. So, you know, I'm sure you're used to it by now. So let's jump into today's video. So here's a quick look at the box that it comes in. It's got a few details and stuff on it, a couple of nice pictures, some of the specs and things you can see on there. This is the second release of this model from E-flite. They had an original UMX version, and the difference is one digit in the serial number. This is a 15250. The original one was just a 5250 model. And what they changed was the motor and the speed control in it, so it can now handle a 3-cell battery as opposed to just a 2-cell battery in the original version. So you know, there's a lot of planes that can take different size batteries in them. It's been my experience so far that the lowest one that E-flite recommends that you can fly on the plane isn't always the best one, if you know what I mean. So they will fly with that smaller battery that they say it can fly, of course, but it's much better on the better version that they say. And when you go to a difference between a 2-cell and a 3-cell, or a 3-cell and a 4-cell battery, it's quite a bit difference. But there's also some weight that has to be considered, and you know, as opposed to runtime and so forth. You know, making a plane a little bit heavier with a bigger battery can be good in a sense because it doesn't get thrown around by the wind quite as much. But you can also lose a little bit of agility too. So, you know, you're finding the balance. The two batteries that they do recommend for this are both 300 millimeters, or 300 milliamps, sorry, and they're, you know, almost identical to look at them, but one's a little bit thicker. And again, they've changed the plugs around, and we'll get into that at the end of the video for people that want to stick around and get some more information about batteries and how to charge these and all that kind of stuff. So let's open her up and take a look here. I've already had a peek when it came in just to make sure that it was okay. So it comes with these nice little kind of holders. You can see in the box there, it's all in one piece. All you get is the plane. That's it. There's nothing else. I think there's a little piece of Velcro that you can stick to your battery. The instructions are always on the bottom of these UMX planes there. You can see the little booklet there if you're looking for that. There's no spare prop. There's no other goodies. That's it. You just get the plane with these UMX ones, so keep that into consideration. There's a little bit of protective plastic on it, and that's about it. That's the unboxing. There's not a whole lot to it. As you can see, it's a beautiful little plane. They've really done a really nice job. This is all painted on here. It's not just stickers. There are a few decals on the side where, you know, the number is there and where it says Pitts and stuff there, but most of this is all painted on it. There's a little engine motor compartment there, so you can see it's quite spacious. Lots of rooms for some different orientations of your battery, but once you figure out your CG, you kind of, you know, figure it out, so forth. So let's move this box aside, and so let's take a little bit closer look at some of the details on the plane. It's really, really well done. They've done a great job on this. You've got these spars or connectors that connect the ailerons from the top or bottom, so you can see the servos are here on the bottom wing, but they also control the top wing as well. It's a bit of the undercarriage. It's got these beautiful plastic wheel pants on it, nice nose cone tail wheel's kind of tiny, but it suffices, and it does turn with the rudder. It's attached to the rudder to help give you a little bit of better taxiing maneuver room and so forth. Got a nice little pilot inside it and everything. And what else? So I've got the radio here, and we'll throw the battery in and we'll just go over the test again. So if you've got an NX series, you can just scroll through your bind and fly list. This plane, again, it was released before, so I don't think they've changed the model version in the radio, because all they've done is increase the power of this plane a little bit with the update. So the plane is exactly the same. So I basically press and load the model into the radio, and when it shows up, you go through the bind procedure in the plane. So I've already done it. Save a little bit of time here, and we'll just throw the battery in to show you that everything's working here. Put a little Jst Connector. Here are little beeps. Sometimes it's a little tricky getting these binding up with safe. I've had to reload a few of the UMX models a couple times because I did other things with the radio, and then it seemed to lose the safe setting on the UMX, especially on the turbo timber that's behind me there. So, and again, to activate your full safe mode, you have to give it a little bit of throttle before it's going to fully activate. You can probably hear that now that it's in AX3X. And then that's now in fully safe mode. So you see, when I turn the plane sideways, the ailerons want to try and correct it to be straight again, and then this would be in normal mode, that it's just giving it a little bit of stability. So that's one way to check, very easy in the radio. What else? I think that's about it. You know, we'll just finish off with a little bit about these battery connections there for people that want to follow that, because again, E-flite with their wisdom, they keep changing these battery connectors around on us, and it drives some people a bit nuts. And if you only have one or two of these planes, this will be kind of important conversation for you to have. So let's move on to that. Oh, the maiden flight video is going to be, well, as soon as the wind dies down a little bit for me. I love these UMX planes. I have 6 or 7 different ones, I think they're now, and they're all fantastic, but they're small planes and they're susceptible to winds and stuff. So anything up to, like, you know, anything over 5 or 6 miles an hour, they start to get tossed around pretty good. They can still fly, but you know, you're fighting the wind quite a bit in them, and it's not as much fun. So let's get on to those battery connectors. Okay, so just a little quick rundown on some of the different battery connectors that are out there. E-flite, for, you know, I love their planes and their quality and stuff there, but one of my pet peeves is they keep changing around these battery connector types, especially on these little UMX planes and stuff there. But if you can get your hands on one of these that comes with some of their planes and some of their batteries, the Spectrum batteries, they show all the different plugs and connectors and have the names on them, which can help you if you're trying to buy new batteries. You know, from my experience, the Spectrum stuff is fairly reasonably priced, and they're pretty good quality batteries. I've also had very, very good success with the E-flite batteries. I find they're very high quality and they last a long, long time. So having some experience, as I said, with the helicopters, I've got multiple small batteries and chargers and stuff, and you know, different connectors. The original small UMX planes used to have the little chiclet or stick type batteries, which you had a little small little pin type connector like this on them. This has both different size, and again, this list has the names of all of them on there. So one of the confusing things about this, you know, can be like this battery. This is a Venom battery, a 300 milliamp, so it goes in most of the UMX planes that they have. But this red plug is called a Jst Connector, and this white plug is also called a Jst Connector, but this was a Jst PH. This has been very common in the industry for many, many years, and this one is kind of exclusive to E-flite and their planes. They're using this connector, and some people call it a high voltage connector, can have some more current and stuff going through it. If you're new to this and you have to get a charger and a battery for this plane and so forth, I'd look around and maybe look at some alternative sources if you're trying to save a little bit of money. But, you know, again, you can't really go wrong with the brand name stuff and the Spectrum batteries that come with it. They're very good quality. So most of the little mini Warbirds have the what's called the Molex connector. There's a little flat connector. I used to call it a Losi connector. It was on that. And there's USB, mostly little USB style chargers for that, but I also have some adapters for this more advanced Selectra charger that I've used quite a bit. These are very good little chargers, and you can see they were adjustable voltage and so forth on them. I'm not too sure if they make those anymore. So what else? You know, again, as far as battery goes, like I've been flying my Turbo Timber with this, you know, with this sometimes. This is a 430. It's quite a bit bigger battery than they recommend. I think a 280 or a 300 they can go for it, right? And it's a totally different shape, but it fits in there quite well, and it just center the balance, and it gives you, you know, that much more flight time and so forth. You know, it's to each his own when it comes to, you know, trying these bigger batteries and stuff. You know, moving them around to get your center of gravity. You can make the plane a little bit heavier and slightly less agile, but gives you more flight time, and it's not quite bounced around by the wind as much. So, you know, there's pros and cons. But I definitely recommend, you know, kind of sticking to, you know, a brand or a type of battery that's going to work good for you. You know, it's kind of new to my attention that, you know, there are some people out there that, you know, very much in love with, say, this specific plane, and they only want to buy this plane. They're not interested in all the different ones that are out there. So if that's the case, when it comes to choosing, you know, your batteries and the radio and stuff that you're going to need to want to operate that's pretty important. For me, and probably most of you, you know, we kind of take that for granted, that the radio is just like a cost of doing business, so to speak. If you want to fly planes, you need to have, you know, a half-decent radio, and it's hard to beat the Spectrum radios as far as their usability, and that's why I'm a big fan of them and the E-flite planes in general, because while they do cost a little bit more than some of the other model planes out there, you know, you can't beat them as far as how easy they are to use and set up, and the support that they have, and the available parts and all that kind of stuff. You know, so you can save a few bucks by going with a cheaper brand for sure, but you know, you're also opening the door for a whole bunch of headaches in that as well. So that's our show for you today, folks. Love and peace from Canada, and we are YouTube.